Good morning, everyone, or good evening, everyone, wherever you happen to be. Welcome to the Make the Grade and Maximum Education webinar. A very important topic this week, and one I do every year, probably multiple times, but in different forums. But it's beginning or getting into the fourth marking period for students. And this is a really important time of the year. You want to finish the year strongly. You want to hit the ground running, all the momentum you've built up for the first 3 quarters and hopefully all the good grades you've been accumulating. And you want to finish it out with flying colors and move on to next year well positioned. So, aptly speaking, the title of this week's webinar is Finishing Your Academic Year Strongly. So we're going to get right into it. Okay, I am Steve Greene, lead educator at Make the Grade and author of Maximum Education. And I am here to share some ideas with you, students, parents, educators, interested parties, and so on. So I'm just going to get right through it today. It's the fourth marking period. It is the point of the year typically where things are in full steam. You're typically at the most complex points of your classes in terms of complexity and level of academics. You're also busy. If you're a junior, you're probably right in the middle of test prep for SATs and all that stuff. If you're an athlete or you're in plays, you've got all that stuff going on as well. So there's a lot of balls in the air, but the grades are still critical because our big goal, remember, if you're in high school, is to get into college, and especially junior year, sophomore year, these grades are very important. So the keys to finish the year, get a strong finish, are, in my mind, at least 5 things. 1, plan ahead, know your deadlines, collect and review, budget your time, and ask questions early. I imagine there's probably others, but to me, these are the ones I always talk about. So plan ahead. Know when your tests upcoming or anything you have to do between now and the end of school, which is typically in June or very late May, know when they are so you can plan ahead. You don't want to get caught off guard. You've come this far, finish the job. So know when your finals are. Typically they're going to be in June, but you've got 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks to plan for these. Do you have any final projects due, term papers, things like this? And are you going to have a big crunch time? Obviously, finals week is busy, but you're going to have other weeks where everything hits at the same time, papers, tests, things like this. So you want to know when they are. You want to take a calendar, and if you followed my work at all, I'm very big on calendaring and planning. Get a calendar out and plan ahead. You're going to have weeks that are a little bit easier, weeks a little bit harder. Take advantage of the easier weeks to get ahead. So tip number 1, plan ahead. Tip number 2 is know your deadlines. And I know this overlaps technically with planning. Yes. But this is really more specific. What are your key dates? Actual dates, May 12th, June 3rd, whatever. And what are the requirements that have to happen? What do you have to do on that date? Is it a rough draft? Is it a final copy? Is it a final? Is it an AP exam? Is it a quiz? How far ahead are you going to have to plan? If it's a quiz, maybe the day or 2 before. If it's a test, maybe that week. Final, in my opinion, you should be in review mode already. Not every day for hours, but enough. And we'll get into that in a second. Are there people you're going to need to collaborate with? Are you doing projects where you have to work with other people, or lab reports or things of this nature? So know your deadlines. 3, collect and review. And I've found every year this is the place people drop the ball. You've got 3 marking periods worth of work, possibly even more, sitting out there waiting to be reviewed. Now, true, some finals are only half the year. That's even better, less to deal with. But this is the time now. Go back, pull out your folders. If you've listened to the Maximum Education advice, you've got all your work in folders labeled by marking period. But if you haven't, go back, find your quizzes, get your tests, look at them, and start to review. This way, when you go into full review mode, you get everything there that you need. Okay? Make outlines. Make lists. Here's what I need to review for math. Here's what I need to review for science. Here's what I need to review for history. Don't wait. Before, another huge one in my world is budgeting your time. All starts with planning and having a calendar. Know what's coming up. Work backwards from there to position yourself and coordinate. You're not going to be able to sit there for 9 hours studying one subject when you have work in the other subjects as well. So you have to look ahead. What do you need? You may have to coordinate with other people. Again, if you have group projects or things like this. Reevaluate. This is going to be a 6 to 8 week project. So let's get into it for a week or two. See how it's going. See if you need to put more time into some things, less time into others. And be realistic. You're just plain not going to be able to study 12 hours a day, even if you wanted to. So you're going to have to look ahead, prioritize things. And again, I'm going to allude to some of the other things I've talked about in the past, which is calendaring, prioritization. These are all maximum education concepts in the book. But you need to be realistic with what you can get done. You're still going to have new work going on. So we're kind of double dipping here. We're completing all the fourth marking period work and probably just as importantly, starting to get ready for the big push at the end of the year. Remember, between the fourth marking period and the finals, this is 30% of your grade for the whole year, sometimes more, depending on the school that you're in. Fifth and final tip, ask questions early. Don't wait till the day before a final to try to review something with a teacher or maybe even other students if you have study groups and things going that you're not sure about. Ask now. If there's something from February you just never got or maybe forgot or whatever, now's the time early in the process to clear these things up. You may ultimately have a list of 10 or 15 things you have to review. That's a lot to try to digest in a short amount of time. So if you make that list early, identify these things, find out your resources, teachers, internet, other students, and then partner with them for success. Go to them and say, hey, listen, I need 10, 15 minutes. I've got 3 or 4 things from the third quarter or the second quarter I'm just not getting. And can we go over them? So much easier to do early in the process than when you really get into the real crunch time 2, 3, 4 days before the finals or even once finals begin. All right, so, and this is a quick one today. This might be the fastest webinar ever, but it's because I want you to take action. Plan ahead, know your deadlines, collect and review your information, budget your time, calendar, plan out, and ask questions early. Here's your goal. You want a strong end of the school year. And I'm really probably mainly talking about grades, but I'm also talking about comfort level, lack of stress, confidence. You know, going into finals, typically how you feel about it. Oh, I'm feeling great. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to get lucky. If you ask the right questions, I'll be fine. No, you want certainty here. So we're going to take the time. 5, 6, 8 weeks is plenty of time to plan this stuff out if you're efficient and you're consistent. So plan ahead. Know your options. Planning ahead means less stress. And that's really the key. When you're in a relaxed, confident mode, you always do better academically. Okay? So, do we have any questions? Oh, so thank you for coming on in 20 languages. Thank you, Danke, obrigado, merci, whatever, chakaran. So let me go into questions here. And I got to be honest, there's a slightly smaller crowd than usual on this webinar, so let's see if we even have any questions. Only one, so here it is. I get what you're saying. I'm kind of paraphrasing here. I get what you're saying, but my child is not very motivated and won't do this on their own. And when I try to do it with them, they argue with me. Oh, that never happens. How do I get them to buy in? Well, that is really the question. That's a study habits and kind of a mindset question as opposed to really a finish the year strongly question. It's big picture. The answer to is big picture. It's about your big goals. It's about the grades. It's about the future. It's about what are you going to use your grades for. So I think my answer would be, and this is definitely something we should take up offline if you want to contact me, and I'll flash up my contact info here. The answer is start small and start with manageable, easily accomplished tasks. You're not going to be able to eat the whole elephant in one sitting. So maybe just start with saying, okay, let's just start with math or whatever maybe their favorite subject is, and just do it for one subject and get comfortable with that. You need to create a track record of success for the students to buy in. I have the same challenges when I'm working with students. And as a parent, I can tell you, because I have kids, it's not always easy to work with your own kids. It just doesn't always go well. There's a lot of other things involved in the academics and whatever. So my advice is start small, start manageable, start with realistic goals, and just build from there. Add a little tiny bit every day, or maybe every other day. But you also have to have a long view and look at the 3 to 6 or whatever 8-week horizon. Okay? And I could really, that's probably an entire series of webinars, let alone a 2 or 3 minute answer to a question. But it's a very common question. Maybe unfortunately it's a common question because it really gets back to motivations. But that would be my short answer. Okay. Second and final question for today is, my child complains that by the time they get to finals, their grades are already set. He says no matter what he does in the final, he's going to get a B for the year, so why bother? Well, let's be real. That does happen. If you got an 84 average for the year, sometimes you can get 100 on the final or 21 on the final, and it's not going to impact your ultimate grade, which is what many schools use for the GPA. So I think, let's be fair, he has a point. The kid has a point. I'm going to answer this a little bit like I answered the last question. This is about long-term habits and long-term behaviors. So perhaps in that class, or maybe a couple classes, they're locked in. And the B is not a bad effort. It's a shame that they can't improve it. But this is really about looking down the road. If this is a 9th grader, you've got the 2 big years coming up, 10th and 11th. This is a great time without the pressure of worrying about the grade to build these habits up. If you're in middle school, even more. Maybe if you're a junior or senior, you're kind of setting the stage for college. So even though there may not be immediate impacts, there's going to be long-term and medium-term things where the behaviors and the skill sets are still really valuable. And of course, I do all these things with students on a daily basis. I will help parents with whatever resources I have. I would encourage you to reach out to the resources on this page, particularly the Facebook page, the second one, which is the MT grade one, which is my business one, and go from there. All right. I know I'm really quick today. Maybe it's whatever. But listen, I appreciate everybody coming on. Please reach out if you have questions. Please leave comments here on the comments area of these pages if you have questions or just feedback. And I am going to see everybody next week. Thank you for the 2 really good questions. And I will see you soon. Dr. Steve Greene from Make the Grade, author of Maximum Education, signing off. Thank you.